But let me give you a tangible reason why inspiration is important. And actually, I already did. It is to get more people interested, more kids, to grab them at a lower level in school, and get them interested in engineering and science. And that's one of the things that we really want to do with this tool. The creative partnership that we've done with GoogleEarth here is one of the things that we're extremely proud of today, and we're hoping to do more of that in the future. As a matter of fact, we're getting ready now to team with Lawrence Hall of Science in Berkeley to put together some educational materials, and we're looking down the road at other potential partnerships that we can establish. So those are reasons why we are using this material. The other thing is that all of the material you're seeing here, 99.9% of it, existed somewhere for another reason. This has been repurposed to be used as a communications and educational tool. There's not that much of it that actually has been created specifically for this website, other than the effort to bring it all together and make it usable in this format. Paul, what else do we have to show? We want to leave with a really good. All right. So speaking a little bit to the educational aspect of it, here again we're showing a simulation that shows some of the construction process for the New Bay Bridge and where we're going. By using some of the tools that we've had to create to understand the bridge ourselves, you can start to get a feel for what the bridge will look like in the future. And this is actually after we've taken the old bridge down, and how it relates to the rest of the region. This bridge is going to forever change the look of the bay. That's what it is designed to do. And we are happy that we've had this opportunity to work with GoogleEarth to let people start to understand what that look is going to be like. So that's basically what we wanted to show you today about the tool that is available now online. And without further ado, I'd like to call Michael Jones from GoogleEarth up to say a few words.
So I'm Michael Jones, I'm Google's Chief Technology Advocate. I'd like to take a few moments just to share our excitement about what has happened here. Our belief, we're optimists at Google, our belief is that people are basically rational. And if they have good information, they'll make good decisions. Jefferson had the same idea, that he thought the shining light of information would help people make good decisions, see good government structures, protect themselves from abusive things. So our mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. So one of the things we did at Google is to do Google Earth and Google Maps to make sort of geographically organize the world's information. You can imagine situations where you get hurt and you need a doctor. You don't want a list of the best doctors in the world or the best doctors in the country, even the state. You want the closest doctor to where you are because you want to go there. So sometimes where the answer is as important as what the answer is. And for things like that, we built Google Earth and Google Maps. This situation is about something that affects millions of people. People in the Bay Area, a little bit less maybe impact, people all throughout the state, a little bit less impact, people throughout the whole world who may visit here. So that sort of surface of interest extends over the entire surface of the Earth. Millions and millions of people. So we have 600 million people in Google Earth. It seemed obvious to us that they'd want to know what was happening. You know, what's being built? What does it mean to me? Can I see it from my house? Will my view be better or worse? Will I get to work easier or worse? Will my transit be blocked during construction? What does it all mean? Of course, in a democratic society, you also say, well, I'm paying for it. Is it a good job? You know, is it going apace? All those kinds of questions. And our role in answering that is to gather all the existing information we can, work with partners that are developing new information, and somehow synthesize that into an environment where it can be understood. That is, to put all that information in context, usually in spatial context. So, and here, if you just go back out, by the way, to just look above the bridge so we can see the bay. Everybody knows where the bay is. Everybody that lives in the Bay Area knows where their house is compared to the bay. So if you, in Google Earth, you can say, well, okay, I know where I am. I know where the bay is. Where's this bridge going to be? Now I know what it's going to look like. So you immediately know the arm's length importance of the bridge to you, just visually, from the very first moment. So at that point, at the bridge went into Google Earth, we have more than 600 million people around the world. 600 million people that can have a personal understanding of what is the visual impact of this new bridge. And that seemed exciting to us. And then as you go closer and closer, you can have an even more personal understanding of What would it be like to walk across it? It has a pedestrian walkway on the south side. Well, if your flying skills are good, you can zoom down to that and walk along the pedestrian walkway, and you would know exactly what the view is going to be like before the walkway is even built. Can you look up a little? Can you tilt out? I want to look over at Oakland. Like, look at us. We're at the end of the bridge. If they're on the walkway, that would be the view. And now we all really know what the view would be before we go on the bridge, before we go on the boat, before we do anything. That kind of understanding of the future gives us makes us, I don't know, it's like evolving people. We have a vision in the future a little bit. All it takes is tools to make that easy to access at Google Earth, and people with vision to put it together, like Department of Transportation, the Bridge Project, Bart and his colleagues. I think they do a great service to the public when they do that, and we're really proud to do our part, which is provide the tools to make that possible. Our hope is that people will use tools like this to really be more engaged in their government, to be more informed about what decisions mean. When they read a news story about Section 4 East going in, they say, I know that, that's the trapezoidal one. I remember, they'll actually know something about it. It'll be meaningful to them, not just words, but real understanding. So obviously we can't all have the privilege of walking on the bridge all the time, but we can all virtually be participants in a more informed society. So that's the kind of tools we build, and we're really in admiration of people like the bridge team here that have used those tools in ways that we never anticipated. So don't think that we expected this and this was just a fulfillment of it. We dreamed that smart people would use it in ways we never imagined, and this is one of the best ways I've seen, and I'm proud to be here and be part of that. Thank you.
Michael, what's your most hit spot on Google Earth?
The most hit spot? Well, actually, the answer to that would seem flip, but the truth is, it's your house. We have 600 million people, and every single one of them have looked at their, and it's really important to me, I'll say this. Everybody has looked at their house. Then they look at their parents' house. Then they look at their grandparents' house. They look at where the elementary school. It's just, imagine this whole list of, like, your personal chronology. Almost everyone has done that. People like go on Google and search for themselves, People go on Google Earth, they search for their life story. And what they do is, when they do that, they show their children where their grandparents were met when they were dating the first time. They actually relive their life. So they go into history in a way that's powerful. So I think really, we do keep track of like how much is used. And obviously, big tourist cities like Paris and New York and get looked at a lot, San Francisco. But the truth is, the interest level of interest globally is pretty much everywhere there are humans. We have a map that shows, a heat map that shows how often the tiles are accessed. And when you look at it, you can see every river, you can see every bit of the Amazon, you can see everywhere there are humans, we see everything. We see Coptic monasteries off the coast of, people looking, everywhere. So it's really been a fascinating education for us. People have a real interest to understand their planet, and I think the works of man on the planet are part of that.
So when you have something like the Labor Day weekend where the bridge is shut down, how many more hits do you think you'd have on the Bay Bridge site?
Oh, that I wouldn't know. I mean, we have hundreds of millions of users every day. We probably had 20 million people using Google Earth while we've been talking here. So it's hard for us to add up the extra 100,000. I mean, I don't know. Wouldn't have any minute way to know that. What I do know is that everyone who wants to know can know. And that's really important. What you never know when the information is, like when the newspaper is, when a short newspaper is filed away in the morgue at the newspaper, they don't know how many people would like to read it, because few people are going to go down there and dig through an archive, look at microfilm to find it. But if you could do a Google search and see old newspapers, millions of people look at it every day. You wouldn't know what they're looking for. It could be life and death to them. But you never know. You just build a basic tool and then trust people to do what they care about. You want to join me?
Just for any Q&A, we're going right into Q&A now.
Yeah. Ask any questions for either one of us. Yes, ma'am.
So how do you determine whether or not this is successful? I mean, what's your, how many people have to access this for you to say this is something that's been popular?
Well, actually, to be honest, I think it's already been successful, because the people building the bridge are doing a better job building the bridge because of it. They talk to each other with a greater understanding. So they're working for all of us, and so everybody in California has won because these guys use better technology. So I don't think we have a metric that's really particular, like 12% more users or anything.